The starship Aurora hung in the void, its hull gleaming under the light of a distant sun. Captain Ias had never expected his life to bring him here, at the heart of an alien empire, surrounded by beings whose existence had been thought of only in myths and transmissions. Yet here he was, standing in a grand hall of crystalline architecture, facing the alien queen, Liara, whose presence radiated both authority and amusement. "You do realize that means marriage, right?" the queen said with a chuckle, her voice smooth and melodic, yet edged with a power that made Elias straighten instinctively. He swallowed, unsure how to respond. The idea of marriage had never crossed his mind in this context. Diplomacy had brought him here, as a human envoy to negotiate peace between their worlds. But it seemed the queen had her own ideas about the role he would play. Elias shifted uncomfortably. I wasn't expecting. I mean, our mission was to establish trade relations." Liara raised an elegant hand, adorned with jewelry that seemed to glow with energy. "Trade is important, yes, but so is alliance. You humans are remarkable." Her eyes, a deep shade of violet, studied him with an intensity that made him feel both scrutinized and admired. "Your species has a resilience, a cunning, and a boldness that my people lack. I think it is only fitting that you be closer to me." He blinked, processing her words. Humans had always been underestimated in the galaxy. Most advanced species dismissed them as primitive, fragile, or too unpredictable for diplomacy. Yet here he was, standing in the palace of one of the most powerful alien civilizations, and they had chosen a human to be their queen's consort. The irony was not lost on him. Elias realized then that humans had something no other species possessed: adaptability. They could survive in environments that would kill others, improvise when technology failed, and make allies out of potential enemies. It was that spark which had caught Lyra's attention, and now, it seemed, it had drawn her amusement and desire. "You will find," Liara continued, "that this is not merely ceremonial. Being near me means understanding our culture, our people, and our history. It is challenging, but rewarding." Elias nodded, though uncertainty lingered in his chest. He had faced alien combat, navigated political intrigue, and survived hostile worlds, yet he felt vulnerable under her gaze. Not because of fear, but because he sensed the depth of her expectations. This was more than a title or position. It was a merging of worlds. The first weeks were a whirlwind of introductions and training. Liara insisted that Elias understand her people, not just politically, but culturally. He learned their language, their customs, and even their combat techniques, though he struggled to match their grace. The alien guards, tall and lithe, moved with a precision that reminded him of dancers, while humans relied on strength, intuition, and improvisation. Yet it was precisely that difference that fascinated Liara. She watched him during drills with a mixture of amusement and admiration, while the aliens moved flawlessly through choreographed sequences. Elias would improvise, turning missteps into opportunities, countering attacks in ways that seemed illogical but effective. "You are frustrating," Liara said one afternoon as they sparred in the palace courtyard, her voice tinged with laughter. "You do not follow the rules, and yet you succeed." Elias wiped sweat from his brow. "Rules are flexible," he admitted. "Sometimes improvisation wins where strategy fails." Liara tilted her head, her violet eyes glimmering. "Perhaps humans are what the galaxy needs. You bend, but you do not break. You adapt, and that is strength." It was a compliment, yet also a challenge. Elias understood that she expected him to grow, to become more than a human in her court. Without losing the essence of what made him human. Diplomacy, however, was never easy. Representatives from rival alien factions arrived, suspicious of the human envoy's presence. Some were intrigued, others hostile. Elias quickly learned that charm and honesty carried weight among humans, but were met with skepticism among aliens who valued tradition, secrecy, and strategy over openness. One evening, as they prepared for a council meeting, Liara approached him in her private chamber. The room shimmered with light that seemed to dance across the walls. "You are aware," she said softly, "that many here doubt you. Some think my choice unwise." Elias nodded. "I expected as much. But I also know humans have a way of proving their worth, even where others doubt us." Lyra's expression softened. "And yet, Elias, this will not be easy. Marriage or alliance, it binds you in ways that are both visible and invisible. You will need patience, courage, and an understanding of what it means to be a part of something larger than yourself." He took a deep breath. "Then I will learn. I will adapt. Not just for you, but for both our worlds." Her smile was faint, but genuine. "Good. That is all I ask." The days turned into months, and Elias grew more confident in his role. He negotiated trade agreements, mediated disputes, and even participated in ceremonial events that showcased the alien culture's elegance. All the while, Liara observed him closely, sometimes with amusement, sometimes with a curiosity that was almost tender. There were challenges, of course. Some alien nobles saw him as a novelty, a temporary distraction, and they plotted subtly to undermine his influence. They tested his resolve with veiled insults, impossible requests, and political traps. Yet Elias's human resilience shone through. He relied on logic, intuition, and sometimes sheer luck, turning threats into opportunities and earning respect where others had expected failure. One afternoon, while walking through the gardens, Liara spoke quietly. "You do realize," she said with a chuckle, echoing her earlier words, "that this bond is not just for appearances? It is real, Elias. You influence more than my court. You influence me." He stopped, looking at her carefully. "I understand," he said slowly, "and I accept it. Not because I have to, but because it is right. I have come to care, in my own way, for your people and for you." Lyra's eyes softened, and for a moment the weight of political intrigue and duty lifted. In that silence, they simply existed as two beings, understanding each other across the divide of species and tradition. The alliance, however, faced its first major test when a rival faction launched a sudden attack on a neighboring system allied to Lyra's empire. Reports came in of orbital bombardments and civilian evacuations. The Queen convened her council immediately, and Elias was at her side. "You must remain here," Lyra told him, though her voice carried unspoken concern. "This is my duty." He shook his head. "If your people are in danger, I go with you. Humans do not stand by when innocents are threatened." She studied him for a long moment, then nodded. "Very well. But understand, you will face dangers unlike any humans have encountered." Together, they boarded a warship. The sight of human and alien soldiers side by side was unusual. But Elias's presence seemed to inspire the humans, who moved with courage and resourcefulness the aliens had not anticipated. During the battle, Elias's human instincts proved invaluable. While alien ships followed precise maneuvers, he suggested unconventional tactics, surprise maneuvers, unpredictable formations, and quick boarding actions. Each move turned the tide incrementally. Lyra watched him from the command deck, her admiration growing. Here was a human, fragile yet fearless, whose decisions saved countless lives. It was more than skill. It was determination, creativity, and courage, all qualities she had long admired, but had never seen so concentrated in one being. When the battle ended in victory, Lyra approached him, her expression a mixture of relief and pride. "You have done more than I expected," she said softly. "You have not only survived, but have ensured the safety of my people. That is no small feat." Elias shook his head, exhausted but satisfied. "I just did what any human would do, protecting those who cannot protect themselves. It is our nature." Liara smiled, a rare warmth touching her features. "And that is why I chose you. You are human, but also something more. You are the bridge between our worlds." In the months that followed, their bond deepened. Elias learned to navigate the subtleties of alien politics, earning trust and admiration, not through fear or status, but through his unwavering integrity and insight. Liara, in turn, came to respect the human way of thinking, direct, flexible, and deeply moral. The wedding, when it finally took place, was a grand affair unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Species from distant worlds attended, curious and cautious, yet all recognized the significance of the union. Elias and Liara stood together in the crystalline hall, hands clasped, their gazes meeting in mutual understanding and respect. "You do realize," Liara said quietly, echoing her earlier words, "that this is more than ceremony. It is a commitment, a merging of lives and worlds." Elias smiled. "I do, and I am ready." In that moment, the hall seemed to shimmer with possibility. A human had proven that courage, adaptability, and integrity could hold their own among the stars. And an alien queen had shown that respect, admiration, and even affection could cross the boundaries of species. Together, they embodied the best of both worlds. The future was uncertain, full of challenges, conflicts, and discoveries. Yet as they stepped forward, side by side, Elias knew that humanity's potential had found its place among the stars, and perhaps, for the first time, the galaxy truly understood what humans could achieve. The stars outside the palace shone brightly, reflecting the promise of a new,